All right. Now that you know what we're kind of aiming at with the quest sheet, or what you guys are sort of going to do with it, we can talk about step two, which is goal setting. Okay. Now, so all my quest givers, you want to let your quester lead this conversation a little bit. And depending on your quester and depending on your parenting style, that might be easier or more difficult. But that's a really important part of this, because what we're trying to get them to do is to really make this their own, and not just have it be, you know, a secondary like nagging system. Like, this is something that we want them to be excited about going to. Okay. And so the goals need to be things that, are sort of generated by them. And we can always update the list of their goals later, but this is something that you want to kind of start with, because it helps you really understand, and it helps them articulate what's important to them and what they want to get good at. And so then if they're spending a whole lot more time getting good at things that they haven't said are important to them, and not a lot of time on the stuff that they wanted to accomplish, then we can kind of point to this conversation, so that they have another way of sort of looking at how they're using their time choices, right? Because all of this is about getting them to choose a little bit differently than they might be choosing if self-discipline is something that they struggle with. All right. And so for goals, this could be, to use karate as an example, going to their next belt. I know a lot of you folks are St. Matthew's martial arts students. That's how you found this video. And so for all of our St. Matthew's martial arts kids, one of their goals for the summer could be going to the next belt. And so then you can take that goal and divide it into smaller goals that are a little bit more manageable and a little bit more actionable. Because ultimately, going to the next belt is something that the instructors, we see and then decide, oh, they've progressed through the material, they've shown improvement, they've been consistent, they're doing well in class, and that's when they're ready to go to the next belt. And that's not always something that they choose when they're ready. But one of the things they do have agency over is how they prepare, and if they're focused on, getting the information they need to get and that kind of stuff. So then they can ask if there's material they need to learn to go to the next belt level. Well, then they know to ask. And if they're in black belt club, they have more opportunity to ask because they have those black belt club times, that kind of stuff. And a personal example, I want to be able to go to the Olympics in 2020 in Tokyo, Japan, because that's going to be the first time karate is an Olympic event. I'd really like to get a chance to see that. And so there's a whole bunch of smaller goals between where I am now and being able to do that. So like, in addition to all the expenses associated with it and being able to kind of create, available budget to accomplish something like that, well, I also need to work on my language. I took Japanese way back in high school, but I wasn't ever very, conversationally competent. The writing and reading that I used to have is mostly gone at this point. And so there's a whole lot of Japanese skill that I need to brush up on. And so that becomes a sub piece of my bigger goal. The big goal, going to the Olympics. One of the things that I need to do to be able to accomplish that goal is working on my Japanese, because I'm not going to have, in theory, I'm not going to have native speakers there with me. I'm going to need to figure out how to be able to get around and, do simple things like, buy food and souvenirs and stuff like that. And having the language capability is going to make me more able to do that and give me more choices. So that is a smaller piece of my goal. All right. Now, on to step 3 is responsibilities. And this is the one, quest givers, that's really important for you guys.